Wow, yo, yippee, yay, guys. Part number 8, and I'm super excited to be with you guys. As always, we're going to dive into the love of the community, then talk about what's happening on SwissBorg network with a new feature that's been released in the app, with a product roadmap updates, and then talk about what's happening on the markets. As you guys know, my name is Cyrus Fosel. I'm the proud founder and CEO of SwissBorg, always here to serve you. Many thanks for this wonderful t-shirt, by the way, with Xborg and all these gamers. It's really cool. Don't know why we have this special 69 on the back. I don't know what that means, but for sure, thank you very much for it. Question of the week. Thank you. The CISA 5245. It's all about the Borg. How is the Borg into top 50? Keynotes. How is we're going to be able to get to the $1 and more than that, new all-time high? How we're going to push it? And that's a great question. And I think so right now we're at the end of this capitulation. I think that, there was a lot of things going on with the, potentially with the Genesis, or a lot of different people around the Borg saying, oh, there's no more utility and all of that, and all this nonsense that's kept on creating some FUD. Some came from a good part, and some, I think, came from just the lack of movement of the Borg, right? I think so now for moving forward, how does the Borg gonna play? We are right now writing a white paper with Anthony, as we say, that is going to bring a lot of life from the centralized parts to the decentralized part of the Borg. There's all the Borg that has a huge, massive play within the SwissBorg ecosystem in the app. We're going to talk about this a little bit later, so stay tuned in there. And then, of course, on the decentralized part, which is going to be talked about really in the white paper that we're writing as we speak. So I think that's really how we're going to embrace that. We always have to understand that fundamentals always come back into the markets. Right now, it's all about degens and starting new things. But sooner or later, you'll see that, let's say the king and the queen are doing well, but the princes and princess, such as Borg, MakerDAO, DAV, and others, are not doing as strong as the others. But that will definitely change. Some time ago, we often look at different exchanges, centralized exchanges or decentralized exchanges, looking at fees only. I think so. This is something that's very important to talk about, and a lot of people have been saying, like, why should I use SwissBorg? And well, you could use SwissBorg for multiple reasons: the user experience, the security. There's a lot of different things, right? But if you really want to look at only fees itself, it's still one of the best platforms. But you probably could get slightly better elsewhere. But the most important is never the fees. If you are the biggest quant trader in the world, right? And that you do 30 trades per day, yes, look at fees. If you are not that, well then fees, is it important? Yes, but that should never be the first choice. Like it's saying like, I'm going to buy a car. Well, it's okay. I'm going to buy a car 1,000 francs, right? Or 1,000 euros. If you have a Renault 5 or if you have a Tesla, well, the security is not the same. The experience is not the same. There's so many different things that a Renault 5 doesn't have, where a Tesla does, or Mercedes, or whatever you want, right? So let's now look at what people should be looking at. And this is a good thing to position SwissBorg and maybe sell it to the others in a better way. So you can look at fees, and that's the top of the iceberg. But then what's underneath are the layers that should be the most important. Number one, user experience, right? That is what it is. It's how the experience enables you overall to get something. Again, you could go to a restaurant, spend €5 or 500 euros. Probably going to be food on the same. There'll be food on the €5 restaurant and 500. Probably won't be the same. And overall, the experience probably won't be better. It won't be the same either. Then regarding fees, what you have to look is that is it transparent or not? And a lot of these exchanges take a huge amount of spreads where you just don't figure it out. They say there's no commission, but all that's completely BS, and we know that. Second, a lot of these firms like CFDs, but as well, a lot of different centralized exchanges as well, they actually front trade you. So you're selling their data, and there's even one of the best non-custodial wallets. They're only selling your data. So essentially what they're doing is they're taking a lot of value from yourself, and they're rather betting against you or just selling it to other companies like Robinhood and all these other companies. So these are things that you don't want to be assimilate to. Number 3, security. Security. Is the funds dedicated? Are they separated? Are they commingled? Those questions are very important, right? At SwissBorg, we know that every account is segregated, and therefore, if we go to bankruptcy, you will get reimbursed, right? Is the company, the proof of reserves was done, right? But the liabilities, are they met or not? We know a lot of these crypto exchanges, they all put about proof of funds, which is nice. But what are the liabilities behind it? No one knows. So essentially, it's like, oh, guys, don't worry. We have $5 billion. But how much you owe? Maybe you owe $7 billion. That means you have a massive hole of $2 billion. And that's exactly what Celsius didn't say. Or this is essentially the loan to value, what FTX was doing, which was making their tokens as they were very liquid and being able to take loans on different other crypto and say this was 1-to-1. No, that's not possible, right? So these are things very important. Fourth, are you regulated in the local country that you are? If you're regulated in another island, it doesn't care. If you're regulated in the US or in Korea, if you're not regulated in Europe, don't touch the platform. It's as easy as that. Because if you have any issue, no one will help you to get back your funds. This is the case of FTX, the case of Celsius. Number 5, we're in crypto. We're not only here to make money, we're here to change this world. And you want to make sure that you are aligned with the company mission and statement. Ours at SwissBorg is financial freedom for everyone. Does that match yours? Yes or not? Do you think we're ethical, we're transparent, we're cool, we're community-centric? Yes or not? Last but not least, the community. Do you have other peers that you agree with, that you challenge on Twitter, that you have fun with in real life or on Discord? Do you think that you're part of something bigger than yourself? Yes or no? If that's the case, then you chose the right friend for your life to make sure that you'll be building wealth in a sustainable way. And I think at SwissBorg, this is exactly what we're offering. Market updates. So as just said, things are going extremely well. We are, very close to the highs of 22, right? And that is something to take in consideration. We're at 1.8 trillion in total. And we still believe that the market will go, in a base case to 5 trillion, but probably to a 6 to 7, to potentially even 8 trillion markets. In a good case, and in a crazy case, we'll go over 10 trillion. So we are definitely at the early stage of what's happening in this bull market. But one thing is very important that we already talked about this last week is still the case. There's still a small amount of people coming on the SwissBorg app. There's only 200 people per day. And back in 21, it was up to 5,000 per day. So that is 25x more. You could see the same thing that we talked about essentially last week, which is that very often the growth of essentially Google search volume is a good way to predict the prices, but as well the amount of people that will be joining. And here you see that, well, definitely in 2018 was like one of the first time that everyone was going Google search. Things were insane, right? Because no one knew about it. And then in 2021, again, things really started to pick a lot. And then the markets, went very highly. Here for now, well, the ETF was a big thing. There was definitely a little upclick, but since that, nothing. So not so much new people are coming. You see with Coinbase here is same is that we see that volume trading from the retail side is still very, very, very low. And this shows that you're very lucky to be in the early bull run. Now we'll look at how things have happened since the big thing we're all waiting for, which is April 10th, I presume, or somewhere around April, which is the next halving. And very often what we've seen, the first one, you see that after the halving, before the halving, not much has happened, and then went boom, right? And then there's a little uptick here that happens, but then prior to the halving, then the halving brought again. Here, a little bit different, I would say this one, because there was Corona. And here, what is very different, there's a big uptick happening before, thanks to the ETF announcements and the fact that the stocks, actually tech stocks, are doing extremely well. Just don't forget that there's probably a strong correlation between tech stocks right now with Bitcoin and crypto in general. So we're seeing definitely a very more advanced type of market moving towards a bullish direction. Does that mean they'll take profits when the halving will happen? If we continue bananas, probably, but we still have all the month, rest of the month of February and March. So March could be this type of, okay, let's wait down, cool down, bring back to 45,000, wait for the halving to happen and go bananas again. Or, history repeats itself. It doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes, but sometimes it rhymes in a different way. So things could go different. It's still very hard to say. Christoph, at his macro perspective, he was saying probably going to hit we might hit all-time high before essentially the halving itself. Now, one is going to be the big thing about retails coming in and all of that. I think this is going to happen probably when we're going to have Bitcoin at a new all-time high. So when we're top like 70,000, then all the people are going to come. It's going to be the first wave. And then the second crazy will coming when Bitcoin will be over 100,000. That's my perspective, how things are going to see. But let's see how this does. However, if we look at post-halving, since the cycle number 1, 2, and 3, there was only less than a year, or pretty much a year, that enabled to have a bull run. And then the bull run, the last one went not to all-time high, went from bull run then to actually as well to the next cycle, which is the reconciliation phase, which brought us to a new all-time high. So roughly, what does that mean? It means that we'll probably have a very nice ride from April to March of next year, so 2025. So that's probably the time that will endure a lot of great volatility, but probably a huge bull cycle with euphoria and all of that. And the smart people that are listening right now will hopefully be able to take some profits. And take some profits is how to auto-invest out into positions and go into more secure things such as gold, real estate, or just the core strategy of Bitcoin and Ether, which is always a good way to keep it on the long run. Okay, guys, this is the most important time of the video, and this is exactly what you guys have been demanding. At SwissBorg, as you know, we've been one company that always wants to express its transparency, wants to make sure that we're in hands with the community and we're going towards our financial freedom together. Here in this next slide is going to talk about how we, as a football team or as a hockey team or a basketball team, are we going to become financial independent? How are we as a company, are we going to become essentially financial free as well? And it goes very well with the jersey, by the way. You have to think about SwissBorg in 3 different ways. We have on one side, the left side, the defense, the middle, no offense. The defense is about making sure that no one scores goals on us, making sure that we as a company, we as an ecosystem are able to make sure that things are going to go well. The middle is essentially the strategy that will push the ball towards the offense. And the offense is how we score goals, how we become financial independent, how do we make revenues, and how do we grow together as a community. One of the most important things that we've been able to develop that no one has today is our MEX. MEX is better than SEX, but MEX is better than DEX. It's a hybrid model of how you combine the best of the 3 worlds, FX, SEX, and DEX. We really have to, with our property IP, get to be better at this, right? And how do we get to even get better? Essentially is being able to scale this baby. Scale this baby where you could be able to trade maybe on the small tokens, 20,000, 25,000, on the bigger tokens, or mid-year tokens, more than 100,000. And for the gigantic caps like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and maybe Solana, we get to trade over $1 million. This will enable us to create the best experience, the at the same time, which means the best security, the best prices. And I think so this will be a game changer. Because I still know many, many big whales that are like, oh, we love SwissBorg, but I'd rather trade my big amount with Kraken because essentially it's better, easier on there to do that. By enabling people to scale these operations and scale their positions, and shout out to Prometheus there and many others, you'll be able to essentially get to do better things with us. And therefore, we'll have a better experience, more revenues for us, of course, and we will grow as an ecosystem. With that being said, make sure we're trading well and investing well. Makes as well very important to list the tokens, the right tokens, but at the right moment too. And we've seen recently, like for example, last week, YGG is being listing just now at a good time, at not a high market cap, but we've been listing much even better with Jupiter, which was the exact day, even if the market cap was a bit high, at 5 billion, to be honest, it was very high, but we're not too sure what would be the price. We listed the same second, it was listed on different dexes. And I think so we go the same with Pith, which was pretty much, launched the same day within the SwissBorg app. So these are ways that we could say that we are doing due diligence. We're enabling you to buy these tokens at the first time of listing, or a bit later when essentially there's more, more credibility that goes to this project, but at least at an early stage. That doesn't mean that every token we're going to list is going to pump, is going to do extremely well. But that still means that we'll be filtering and making sure that it's listed in the right timing, hopefully. Last but not least, you've been asking this for long times. You guys want order limits or trigger orders. And this is being developed right now. We took a little bit time to implement it, to make it happen. There was back and forth on how we would design it. And there was different things that went, it just didn't went as fast as we wanted. But this is definitely being developed right now. And for people who are thinking about these order limits, I love order limits. I'm not saying I don't like it, especially to buy, when there's volatility. But I'm not going to use it to sell them. I'm going to auto invest out in this next cycle, whenever that's going to happen, let's say Q1 or Q2 next year. I'm just going to invest out of my positions, right? So and that's the way I think it's the better way done. Because if you just sell at one time, it's like getting in one time. Most probably you won't be able to do DCA in or DCA out. So please take that in consideration. But it's definitely still a great tool. Not saying the opposite. Though, if you want to really be different from any other sexes or dexes, what you need is alpha. These alpha opportunities have shown the world that we are so different, that we're able to get deals that have been discounted because essentially these things are discounted, they're undervalued, and we get a better deal with these people because we bring not only a deal to them and investors, we bring users. And that's how SwissBorg is so different and so pure. Projects come to us because they understand that it's not only money they're getting, it's a loyal community with it. And this is something we're going to push. Colony was a great investment. GoGo Pool was even crazier. I think so it's 3x up since, or 4x, 5x up, I think so, since we got that deal. And the Pegasus right now has been 3 different deals, I think so, which has been done in the last 3 weeks. They're 120% up. So things are going extremely well in that direction. We need as well to continue to have a launchpad, like for example with Favor or pre-launchpad type of tokens, which are really good. And again, how you combine that investor, but that user thing, which gives you even a nicer airdrop, which is beautiful. And last but not least, this is something completely new, and you'll be very excited about it. We've been talking about this for a long time, since 2017, but we believe that the yields that should be gone on stable coins should not come from yield farming. The risk is too asymmetric. It should be coming actually from real world assets. So this is still very, very early stage, and it's not necessarily going to be delivered in 2024. So don't get your hopes too high. But what we want to bring is a way where people will be able to lock their profits out and get into stable coins that could offer them yields on different real estate projects. This is something that we're working right now. There's a lot of operations to do that. This is a new business for us as well. So there's still a lot to be tackled in it, but at least technically we're ready. Now, the middle, the heart of our ecosystem, the Borg. The Borg begins in a way that we need to put the Borg in the centerpiece of the SwissBorg app. And this has to be very clear. just right after we're going to be talking about it. So don't get too excited right now. Let's keep some sweat for after. The Today tab, of course, is a new way to experience you as a Borger, your identity, your customized page. There's been some critics, of course. It changed a bit the UX. It doesn't come into your portfolio right away. But I could tell you, this is going to be the game changer tomorrow. Because your homepage will be essentially your place to say like, oh, what do I have to do? Where am I? Where should I go? And that's how you're going to be playing it different, especially with the Borger. Loyalty is what we've been carrying the most at SwissBorg. And for those who are watching, thank you so much. Please subscribe, share, comment here, show your love and appreciation. We have 150,000 token holders in the app. How do we get to 300? That's what I'm trying to figure out. But as well, how do you go from 50 premium users to double that as well? And this is what we have to bring. And maybe one of the tools that could grow there and is have essentially referrals that could be a little bit different. 21 was great. What about 24? How do we make this better? This is exactly what we need to tackle on. More with the middle and passing the ball. There's been very much success. We'll talk about it after. The thematic, especially the gaming one. There's a lot of different profiles and there's a lot of different thematics and there's a lot of different vision that goes with this. And yes, we'll have more thematics going forward. There's a lot of cool ones that'll be released in the upcoming months. Operations and defense. A lot of people always talking about Messi. A lot of people always talking about how this football player is scoring goals and how this middle guy is passing the ball and all that. But very often we don't talk about defense. Defense is the thing like, oh, it's the back office, it's the people in operations. They're not as cool. They're not as sexy. They're as important or potentially even more important than any other person. They're the one that blocks the ball when there's a black swan. They're the one that says how to do things in order to keep our fiat gateways and make sure our business is on par. They're the ones who talk to regulators to making sure that all our KYC and AML are doing well. They're the one that essentially with anti-financial crime people that try to protect your assets at all time. Does it look sexy? Maybe it doesn't. But it could say it should be. Because this is where we as SwissBorg are so different from all the crypto casinos in Asia. And as well, a lot of the crypto casinos in the US, right? All of the FTX, all of the different Celsius guys, all the different guys that were from all the, OKX and all these different Chinese exchanges, and even Binance, which is an amazing one, have never got anything about operations. That's why they don't have fiat gateways. That's why they're not regulated. That's why they're blacklisted. And that's why most of these companies will probably become protocols or just use offshore and will be out of Europe very soon. With the implementation of MiCA, we have so many people today that are working hard towards how to get this framework right, how to make sure that we are doing the suitability test for the FCA, we're doing the suitability test for MiCA, and the different jurisdictions in which we work with. And this is something that's very, very, very crucial. And maybe sometimes people are like, oh, to recover a SwissBorg account, I have to do my KYC again. Yeah, well, that's probably much better than actually getting hacked your account on a different exchange. And I think so this is where security and regulation is a huge, massive play. Today, it's one of our big priorities. And it's been like that for now since day one, but at least product and development side, it's been little 9 months that we put a lot of pressure there. And there's a lot being done right now, and maybe it doesn't look as sexy as you want, but I could tell you this is extremely important. But some other things with the defense could be really cool as well. Is the debit card and fiat gateways. Fiat gateways is something that has been our one of our bread and butter, right? Where we're very good at, and we be now able to offer over to 17 fiat gateways. We would like to do that going forward with more in order to have local payments for different countries. And the debit card is something we promised, and that we have hired essentially a new person to look into this and hopefully being developed. That doesn't mean it's going to come in 2024 necessarily, but it's going to come sooner or later. So, the defense, the middle offense, is these three characters that we're putting a lot of pressure on it, with being massively the offense, okay? This is really where we are. in terms of deployment technology products, as well a little bit on the operation side of defense. These are really the two sides that we're playing. And then how we're passing the ball between each other's is some of the tech is already built, it's really well done, and some more is balling on the UI and the UX, which is really that middle part, right? So this is where we're at. I hope you guys are excited about that. Of course, the white paper will explain this much better, but at least you have a good frame right now. And there you go. You got the street tease. This week, you talked about essentially the homepage. Voila. This is what the Borger rank is. The Borger rank essentially is a replacement of the hero score. It's a new way to show within the homepage what's your ranking. Are you in the top 1,000? Are you in the top 500? Are you in the top 100? Are you in the top 1%? Where your rank is. And based on your ranking, this will enable you to essentially participate in a better reward program. That could be essentially a way that you could offer better deals, if you know where I'm heading there. And the great thing is that we don't want to clear this out all the way. I think so we need to build this together. We need to, as a community, to vote like what are the preferences that you as a community really want to. I definitely have a lot to say on this one, and I'm very excited because, well, I have a lot of Borg for sure, and I want to accumulate different points that will give me a lot of new utilities with the SwissBorg app. But the good thing is that we're having a smart cafe on February 22nd, and yeah, it's a good way for you guys to swarm together and try to understand that, yeah, what is the future of this Borger rank, right? So it's happening on Thursday. And Yotso will be there and other people will be there. So looking forward to see how this is going to be done. But the Borger rank will be definitely the one that will position yourself within a great leaderboard to get a lot of points that will enable you to get financial freedom and get access to the most exclusive services at SwissBorg. Thematics, just talking about earlier, the gaming thematic is going great. I think so. There's over close to $9 million that's being invested so far in this thematic only after 1 week. And the very juicy deal is that until tonight, you could invest in order to get the airdrop of our dear SwissBorg token project. This airdrop now has essentially different tiers. You'll have the highest amount of points if you invest more than $10,000 into it. It's a 15x airdrop multiplier, and yeah, have fun and invest smartly. Over 100%, guys. Live Peer token has been definitely a very good auto invest for myself. I've been coming $200 for a certain amount of time, and now I'm like, okay, this is great. Now I'll stop buying in, and most probably a few months from now, I will auto invest out. Why Live Peer? Well, essentially, it's a very interesting blockchain itself. It really is focusing on video streaming, which is obviously something very big. The big pump recently is that they're going to be working with ChatGPT, especially with Sorare, the videos themselves. So let's see how this evolves with Sorare, and looking forward to see essentially more transactions happening, which is still not the case. If you want to be part of SwissBorg, or you have any friends, there is really 5 different managers right now, 6 different positions that are really good. Engineering manager, which is really a big position. Scale engineers, we're looking for some of them. KYC managers, this is a big role. So if you know about compliance and onboarding people, we really need someone to take over the entire team of KYC. Same with the community support that will enable to essentially make our chatbot smarter and make our process even better. Senior compliance as well, and a German community support agent. If you know any of these people, or you want to yourself to apply, please do that. And if you refer the right person, you earn some Borg tokens. Next event's happening tomorrow in Valais, so please be there. Probably I'm going to be there. After, there's in Lausanne happening next week. And then we have a Geneva community meetup as well. The one in Lausanne will happen at our dear former office, just next to the train station, which is Gotham. And Geneva is going to happen where we were last time. So looking forward to have this. Invite all your friends, families, neighbors, post officers, policemen, whoever you want, firemen, anyone that should be taking the train is right now and not tomorrow. So let's become financial free together. Talking about Pump, 526 premium users, which is really, really good. Brings us almost 154,000 in the app, which is really, really good. 200 there. So hopefully next week we'll get to that. And essentially things that are growing. So this is really, really nice. Seeing 23% supply is really, really nice of Borg stakes. That is exactly what we want to see. Bring up the community index, caster score. Let's make it happen. 6.6, the devil is back in the game. We're pretty much everything up besides social media. So please like, comments, share, and invite people to the app, man. Invite it. Come on, do it. Invite it wherever you can. Just make it happen. It's now. In 3 months, it's going to be late. 6 months is going to be very late. In 9 months, it'll be too late. So right now, the best gift you could give is let someone download the SwissBorg app. Send them $50 right away. Like you scratch both your tickets and then let them invest. Guys, I hope you liked this powwow today. So as you understood, the Borger rank is going to be a massive change for SwissBorg, and how we could really enable essentially our dear, most valued Borgers to get a better experience within SwissBorg. There's a lot to be attached to that, but for that, we need you guys to come after tomorrow on Thursday to our lovely Smart Cafe and try to give us feedback on what you see this the most. Of course, we'll have probably other things going forward, but the Borger rank is definitely one great way to show the love that you have for the SwissBorg community. The roadmap itself, it's a great way to understand where we're heading, how this MEX is the game changer, how the Alpha is really positioned as a leader. But of course, the Borg that is in the middle, of course, of the center of everything, and how you provide a better experience through the SwissBorg ecosystem. And on the defense side is how we operations meets, all the requirements that are being set by different regulators around Europe, and how we make sure that everything is safe and secure. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, be wealthy, be healthy, love our Borg, and equity. Much love. Take care, guys.
Through SwissBorg, all assets will have a fiat gateway. And here is the thing.
Premium features gives you 0 fee trading.
It's an amazing fiat gateway.